We've been talking a lot about the shoulder and shoulder pain, and one thing we haven't talked about is shoulder stability. You know, we can strengthen all day, we can mobilize all day, but especially if you're a throwing athlete, like baseball players, like football, if you're the quarterback in football, or really like for CrossFitters and weightlifters needs, making sure that our shoulder muscles, in particular our rotator cuff, and even our traps, even our pecs as well, are contracting the right way to stabilize our shoulder joint is very, very important, right? The shoulder joint relies on active muscle contraction for stability. If the muscles aren't contracting, this joint, it's not gonna work very well. Our hip can get away with being a little bit weak. This is literally the hip joint. There's a huge socket and a big ball, bam. Anatomically, very, very stable, very difficult to dislocate your hip. As most of you know, or you probably know somebody who's dislocated their shoulder, it's not very hard to dislocate it, especially if you've already done it. So what we can do if you've had shoulder pain, part of this is gonna be doing shoulder stability. One of my favorite ways to do this is to utilize a kettlebell. And we're gonna go through some shoulder rotations and some bottom-up exercises here. So there's gonna be a couple exercises. I typically give these together. So two of my favorite ways to work on shoulder stability. Again, you can strengthen, you can mobilize all day, but especially if you're an overhead athlete, right? If you're a volleyball player, that overhead motion of coming back and forward, baseball, cocking back and going and following through, your rotator cuff is really gonna be active with acceleration, deceleration, and just keeping that shoulder joint together. We need to make sure we're stable. So all we're gonna need, I have a 20-pound kettlebell. You might need to start a little bit lighter, but here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna lay on our backs. I like to start with some bottom-up kettlebell presses. And if these are too challenging, just get a lighter kettlebell. Some of my patients, they're like, at the time the lightest kettlebell was about 18 pounds, and that was too challenging. So try and just find a lighter kettlebell. I know this is gonna be tough for me, especially on my left side. Bottom up, shoulder down and back, core nice and tight, pressing up and controlling it the whole time. On the way back down. All right, the point of this is control. It's not about how, you can make it faster, right? Go faster, it's gonna be more challenging, especially at the top. For the beginning, I want you to just control it. If you go fast, the top part's gonna be more challenging, where it's gonna be, right, it's that fast acceleration, deceleration, and wow, I almost lost it there. So you can vary the speed at first, just get it moving. And what I love to do for these, so bear with me guys, what I love to do, is I'm all over the place, is get to the top and then start to slowly rotate. This is a game changer, and you can see how challenging this is for me. This kettlebell might lose it. I'm just gonna have this hand here just to be on the safe side. I recommend doing this anytime your bottom's up, especially if you're getting tired. Have that hand here just to protect you. I do not want you breaking the teeth or breaking your nose, especially if the kettlebell gets heavier, but man, you do a press, rotate clockwise as far as you can, counterclockwise as far as you can, and man, my rotator cuff, I can feel it in a shot right now. Guys, that is one of my favorite ways to start the process, start the game on shoulder stability. I'm gonna make a couple more videos on this, but hands down, one of my favorite ways to start working on this. There's a lot of stuff you can do with Turkish get-up progressions as well. My plan on doing some Turkish get-up progressions in the bottom-up position. I wanna see how that goes. I'm gonna experiment around with that, but guys, this has been bottom-up kettlebell presses with rotation.